I got a question on YouTube from Daniel Snecka. He asks, can you please tell us how to take the intake boot off and a good place to buy one? All my local auto parts stores do not carry it. Thank you. Well, a good place to buy one is probably eBay. You can buy one from a dealership. They're fairly expensive. You can definitely find one at a junkyard. I recommend carpart.com, and you look in there for a Mazda 626 or whatever your car is. Put your car in and it'll tell you all of your local junkyards that have one, and then you can go and snag an intake boot off. Oh, and the part that Daniel is referring to is this right here. This is your main intake boot, and I have done a previous video on inspecting and taking it off. However, at the time I wasn't using a very good camera, didn't have a good angle on exactly how you take this off. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show them just how you take that thing off. The first thing that you want to do is take off your air scoop, and there's two 10mm bolts attaching that. And then you're going to have to loosen this hose clamp that's on this accordion boot. This is a scoop or filter box coupler. And you take your hood scoop off and you can just set that out of the way. Your next thing that you're going to want to remove is going to be your filter box. Before you can get your filter box off, you have to remove your IAT and your mass airflow sensor. This is your intake air temperature sensor and your MAF, or mass airflow sensor. Okay, in order to get the IAT off, there's a small little clip here. You can just kind of pry that up with your fingernail and then push this off the back. There we go, like so. And then your mass airflow sensor, you simply disconnect like so. And if you have one of these little prongs, you're going to want to take your harness out of that, and then your harness comes off. And you just flop that over to the side. And then there are going to be three 12mm bolts, 1, 2, 3 on the other side, and you're going to have to remove that, and then your whole filter box will come out. These two are nuts, the other one's a bolt. And then you go at this one. Okay, and now that those are off, the next thing you want to do is loosen this clamp right here. It's just a screwdriver, loosen it up, and don't loosen it too much, because on the end of here there's a nut, and if you back this screw out too far, that nut is going to fall off. You don't want that, because then you're going to be fishing around for that lost nut down there. That's one of the things about videotaping, is you got to do everything with one hand. Okay, so you just pull straight up, because there are two studs over here. You just have to go through the studs like so, and this one does not have a stud because that was a bolt on this side. And then, let's see, as you do that, you want to wiggle this box back and forth, and that should allow and pull like so. Alright, and there's your filter box out. Now you get a good look at your intake boot. And now if you're running just a cone filter off of here, this has a tendency over time to snap. It'll probably snap right here around this indented ring. Another place it might snap is back here. So this resonator down here is only available on some models. And then you have this clamp here that's around the throttle body side of the intake boot. Remember to keep an eye on that nut so you don't back it all the way off the end of that nut. And then once you get it loose enough, you can turn this by hand. Now it's really nice and loose. And remove your breather hose. Now your hose is going to be a black stock one. This is an aftermarket replacement. That's my custom hose end there, as well as that hose. You can fold that out of the way, fold this out of the way. Now the tricky part is getting this up above your fuel lines. So what I usually do is I twist back and forth to crack it loose, because over time this will mold itself to your throttle body. And then you just pull straight back. Alright. And you have to manipulate it in such a way that you can pull this whole thing out like so. These clamps here can be a source of leaks, so inspect around there really well. Look for any signs of splits or tears. This one's brand new, less than a year old. Well, maybe about a year old. So this thing is going to last me for quite a long while, maybe 10 years. But if you have the original on here, look for splits and tears and cracks. This is soft plastic, but this part is hard plastic. So this is going to get real brittle over the life of the car. So inspect that for cracks. And everything looks good on mine, so I'm good. So inspect yours. Are you good? So that's all there is to it, Daniel. It's real quick, real simple. It probably took me, what, less than 2 minutes to do that entire process. Of course, I've done it many times. So it's real quick for me. And that's basically all there is to it. And then you just put it back in the reverse order. And I might have to do that real quick because it looks like it's going to rain. I just shot this video because Daniel's question was real quick and I had a real simple answer, and it only took me 2 minutes out of my day in order to answer. That was a good question, Daniel, so thanks for asking it, and thanks for allowing me to have a question that I could make a video on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yep, it's starting to rain, so I gotta cover this all back up. Hope you enjoy the video, Daniel.